Hi everyone, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. As you know, we are a channel that's supposed to Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, 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 welcome. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful day it's been. In our community, the Sussex Squad community, because we have been raising funds for in honor of and celebrating Archie and Lily's birthday, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet's birthday, and we all know tomorrow, Sunday, is going to be Lilibet's birthday, and she's going to be two. A big 2 year old tomorrow. And so we have been raising funds for that. And we're very excited to, possibly get to 100,000 by her birthday, which is tomorrow. And here we are, $105,826. And I'm sure this was like, I think I did this I don't know, almost an hour ago. So I'm sure it's beyond this by now. But it's amazing. Again, the goal of the fundraiser, which started a couple of days before Archie's birthday, started on May 4th, was to raise only $20,000. We are $105,826, all raised for Kaboom. And just so you know, again, Kaboom is an organization that creates play spaces for kids and their families. Especially, for example, they did it in Uvalde, Texas, for the community, to help the community, the kids just be able to get back to being kids, and also to help the community to heal. So they do playgrounds all over to make sure that kids, especially in a city where they don't have the privilege of having these playgrounds where kids could just be kids in spite of all the drama that goes on. And so they are committed to creating those spaces, and we just helped them with $105,826 to create much more spaces for different communities and for kids, all in honor of Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet's birthdays. So very, very exciting. Congratulations, Sussex Squad. You are amazing. Thank you, everyone in this community who's donated, who have been donated. Thank you, Lydia, for constantly posting the links so everybody could have the links. To the the fundraiser. And so again, it goes until tomorrow. So if you still want to join in, and we'll see how much we get at the end of tomorrow, would be amazing. I know everybody is excited about it. Everyone is just, hello. We are like, it says 529% above our goal of, again, $20,000. And not only are we celebrating, Kaboom is also celebrating. They're like, thank you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thank you so much to all the global supporters. Your support of our mission to end place-based inequity means so much, not only to us, but to the kids that will be impacted by your generosity. And so Kaboom is excited about it. I played a video a few episodes back of the CEO of Kaboom just thanking Sussex Squad for this incredible gift that we have given. And again, thank you to Harry and Meghan, who were the ones that were connected. I had never heard of Kaboom before this. It was because of their connection with Kaboom where that inspired us to be able to give to Kaboom. So thank you for Meghan for going to Uvalde, Texas, and spending time with the families there, and also through her and to Archwell, their foundation, Archwell, teamed up with Kaboom to make an incredible play space, all created with the just the input from the community, the kids and young people in the community as to what they want in their playground. And so they built that, and now much more kids will benefit from these play spaces. So amazing work, Sussex Squad. You floor me. It is amazing. We are in an amazing community. We should be very, very, very proud of ourselves for this incredible just gift that we've given to these communities. So kudos, Sussex Squad. You are awesome. There is no other supporters like Sussex Squad supporters. I don't think of us as a fandom. We're not a fandom. We are supporters. And so there you go. And today, apparently, thank you to Squaddies, I didn't even remember, but today apparently is a year anniversary to these iconic photos. Last year, Harry and Meghan were at the Queen's Jubilee that nobody asked for. And she invited, it was also a celebration of her birthday, so she invited them, especially invited Harry and Meghan to come, gave them her security, had her bodyguard sit right behind them to make sure that they're protected and all of those things. And of course, and I was trying to find that photo of Meghan and Harry walking in that church, and I couldn't find it. It's there. I just was kind of in a rush, but we remember these iconic shots from that Jubilee, and Meghan in this fabulous Dior outfit and that hat. Ooh, ooh la la. Everybody wearing these like I don't know. It looked like candy color outfits, bright candy color outfits, and Meghan is in white. And so she stands out among all of them. It's wonderful. It was just so wonderful. So her and Harry were there, and obviously they celebrated Lily's birthday there as well last year. So wherever, don't know where they're celebrating Lily's birthday. If they're going to be in California, if we don't know if the Sussexes are gonna go to the UK as a family. We don't know if we have no idea. I'm assuming that Meghan and the kids are staying in California while Harry goes there. I'm assuming. I have no idea, and neither does anyone else. So we'll know if they let us know. you know, on one hand, I know Harry, it's a lot. I mean, it's very intense what he's going to be doing on Tuesday. Apparently, they said on Monday he's supposed to sit in court, and then Tuesday take the stand. It's very intense. And so whether as a family they travel there to be with him, and I don't know. Or he just leaves Sunday during Lily's birthday and to get there for Monday, or who knows? Nobody knows exactly what their plans are. So whatever their plans are, I just we'll just please pray for them. Please pray for Harry. This is really intense. First royal in like 130 years to take the witness stand, and especially doing what he's doing. We know the press has been throwing everything and the kitchen sink at them to try to scare them into not testifying and try to scare them. I mean, name it, they've thrown it at them. So please keep them in your prayers. They need it. That they are strong and be able to withstand this, and hopefully Harry is able to convey exactly what he wants to convey at these hearings, to be able to say what he wants to say the way he wants to say it, and have the impact that he wants to have. And again, this is for Harry, not about money, it's not about any of those things. It's about changing the press, is about changing the abusive behavior of the press, invading people's privacy and all the things like hacking and blagging people and all of those things, and really doing it to destroy people's lives. And so he is trying to make changes. And so please pray that him and the others who are part of this case are able to make the impact in the British media that they want to be able to make. So again, happy anniversary. Well, I don't know if it's a happy, because it's kind of like it's a little messy over there, but anyways, Harry and Meghan looking happy here. It's 1 year anniversary to this. I wouldn't have known it. There's squaddies, I mean, awesome squaddies who remember these things. One of the squaddies posted it, and I was like, oh right, yeah. Thank you, squaddies. What else is happening? The Spare is that little book that could, it's like the Energizer bunny that just never stops going. And again, this book came out January 10th. This is May 28th, and Spare is still number one in the UK, number one Amazon charts in the US, number one in the UK as well. And it's just amazing. It's been amazing with Spare. It has never left the top 5. Even sometimes when it goes down, it comes right back. And it's just not leaving the top 5. And so it's been number 1 for the majority of the times. And so it is just amazing. UK, US, and also Thank you, Juliet, Sussex detective. She is a French squatty. She posted, there you go, on your left, Spares number one, Les Suppliantes. I don't know, my French squatties could. I was trying to do something with an accent. I don't know if that worked. So our friends squaddies could laugh at me if they want to. But all in all, Spare is number one in France. And as you can see on the right, according to Toronto Star, Spare is still number one in Canada. The best-selling books in Canada for the week ending May 31st. And you got there, Spare. Number one. So yeah, it's amazing. It's just the biggest selling book, and really just the largest selling book. It's just Harry is basically, Spare has really, is been the one that has sort of been propping up the publishing industry. Look at how many books, and especially royal books, that has come out since Spare, and all of them didn't do anything because we, ignored them, because Spare is it. I mean, when you get Spare, all the others is just like hearsay, and nobody, we are beyond hearsay, so kudos to Spare, that little energizer book that just keeps going and going and going. Anyways, what else do I have that's happening? Yes. One of the things that really had irritated me a lot with the paparazzi chasing Harry and Meghan when they were here a few weeks ago, yes, the narrative that came out after that. I mean, it was so much lying, so much misinformation, so much twisting facts, and so much of reporters and commentators in the United States knowing the truth and lying about it, knowing the truth and twisting it, knowing the truth and completely not reporting it. It's like they had this agenda. Oh my gosh, the Sussexes, let's twist what they have to say so we can have a go at them. And it was really, really sickening to watch and I've talked about this, the police department completely minimize it, completely watch the New York mayor, it's incompetent New York City mayor, completely misrepresent what they say, what they said, and claiming about, a high-speed chase when that was nowhere near in Harry and Meghan's statement. But one of the narrative that's came out was, oh, New York City don't have car chases. There's just bumper to bumper. There's gridlock everywhere. We don't have car chases. That's a lie. There's never a car chase in New York City. All of these lies, and I'm tweeting, it's like, that's false. I live in New York. I see cars speeding down the road all the time, especially when you look on the highway. People go crazy on those highways. Yes, there are certain times when there is traffic. There are certain times in the day, for example, rush hour, where there might be, bumper to bumper traffic. But at other times, especially late at night when there's not much traffic, people go screaming down the streets, screaming down the highways, all of those things. And to see reporters from New York pretend that that doesn't happen, to pretend that that is some foreign concept that they have never heard of, that a car chase in New York, or cars going speed in New York, or just the idea of a car following another car, chasing another car. And it's just like, I'm like, do you guys live in the same city I live in, that I've lived here for over 3 years? And it is just so ridiculous. And I mean, the absolute lies, you could tell that they know the truth, they know what was supposed, and they refuse to speak it, because all of them got an opportunity to have a go at the billion-dollar industry that is, let me attack Harry and Meghan, let me make money and get, because more people will click on my show or my column if I write a hateful article, or have a hateful comment about them on my news outlet. It is just so sickening. And so when I saw this today, one of our squaddies, I think it was a squaddie that posted it today, I was like, here it is, in plain language about car chase in New York, posted literally by Alvin Bragg from the Manhattan DA's office. He put, in case you missed it, a man who allegedly led the police on a violent car chase through Midtown in April is indicted on multiple felony charges. That's right. He led police through Manhattan, Midtown no less, Manhattan in April. And it's just like, these are, it's just like, again, for people who were claiming, and when I saw some of these things, I'm like, these people who are tweeting this, a lot of this stuff, and not even New Yorkers, because again, apart from the New York reporters who know better, and all these other people were like, oh no, Carjas is in New York. No, a lot of them, I'm sure, they don't even live in New York. But again, this is proving again that people do chase, and police do chase people on the street. Case in point, this time in April, and so again, this is tweeted out by Alvin Bragg, who is the Manhattan DA. And this is what he said about the car chase. Again, this has nothing to do with the Sussexes at all, but this is just an example of a car chase in New York City. And when I read this, you will see the similarities. The driver allegedly engaged in incredibly reckless and dangerous car chase that injured two New York Police Department officers, Bragg said in a statement. Many other lives were put at risk as we wove through streets and sidewalks and even drove right through an outdoor dining structure. I wish the officers injured a full and speedy recovery. According to authorities, Abrams was pulled over for weaving through traffic with temporary license tag. During the stop, he allegedly provided officers with a fraudulent North Carolina driver's license, refused to step out of the car, and fled. That's when the car chase began. Abrams led officers on pursuit through Midtown. I mean, if you want to talk about gridlock, Midtown Manhattan would be a place. And yet, this guy was able to lead police officers through Midtown Manhattan, driving into oncoming traffic and onto where sidewalks. Yes, that's the thing, Bragg said, to get around traffic on East 30th Street between Park and Madison Avenues. He allegedly rammed his car between vehicles in front and behind him. This is possible in New York. And again, in April, this happened. Very similar to what happened with Harry and Meghan, with car drivers driving on the sidewalk and all. And again, so many people were like, this doesn't happen in Manhattan. And it's like, yeah, here's a police account. Here's the DA tweeting about this. Cars driving on sidewalks, weaving in and out of traffic. Again, talk about potentially catastrophic incident that could have happened. And now he's indicted and all that stuff. But again, this is for people who are claiming that, oh, this stuff doesn't happen in New York. Here is a police car chasing two officers. Police chasing this guy through the streets of Manhattan, 30th Street. And so again, I mean, I didn't read through the whole article, so I missed what time of day it was. But if this is, if this was this photo part of the incident, this was daytime. Yet this guy is able to go, the police, and this guy is able to be chasing, the police is able to be chasing this guy to Midtown Manhattan by 30th Street. And yet people are claiming this stuff doesn't happen in New York. And so this was the thing that was very irritating to me, because it was just like, you people are just lying and pretend like, oh, this is like a new teaching. Car chase in Manhattan? Drivers speeding through Manhattan? I mean, it's just, it was like, I felt like I was living in another, like, it's like another universe or something. I'm like, am I living in the same Manhattan these people are living in? Yes, there are gridlock sometimes. Yes, if you're going through a tunnel, there is gridlock, to get through later the Lincoln Tunnel, whatever. During rush hour, there will be, but there are times, a lot of times during the day when it's not rush hour, where people go screaming down the street and up the street, especially the avenues, because they're wider, or the highways. We're on the highways, you know what I mean? It's just like, hello. So it was just very irritating, but it's very interesting that, this came out and again, proves what Harry and Meghan said was true. And when people were like pretending like this is a new teaching, they've never heard ever of, car chases in New York. And here, specifically, here is one right in front of them. And I would never understand why reporters never asked the cops, never asked the police department when they said it was challenging getting Harry and Meghan from, the Ziegfeld to getting them to their home. They just said it was challenging and chaotic. They never pursued exactly what happened. They never asked them, well, what made it challenging? What did the paparazzi do? They couldn't, admit there were swarms of paparazzi. They didn't say what they did. They just said, oh, it was challenging. And everybody just left it at that because nobody wanted to know the truth. Nobody wanted to know exactly what happened. So anyways, I don't want to belabor this point, but when I saw this, and I think it was a squatty that posted, I was like, see, these reporters were just lying through their teeth. Whoopi Goldberg also lying through her teeth, about, this could never happen. It's like lies, total lies. Did New York have gridlock sometimes? Yes, it does. But a lot of times it has the road is free. People go screaming up and down it all the time. So yeah, anyway, moving on. Yeah, this one. One of the things that you notice, if you've been paying attention to this whole Philip Schofield drama that's going on in the UK, one of the things you notice very quickly off the bat is the hypocrisy, the utter hypocrisy of British reporters, the utter hypocrisy of these people. For example, Piers Morgan is a perfect example of that. Unless Philip Schofield, which is what he tweeted, unless Philip Schofield's ex-lover contradicts his version of events to The Sun and the BBC, then it's time to stop the relentless persecution of a guy who lost everything and looks right on the edge to me. He doesn't seem to have committed any crime, and he's not a government minister. This is kind of the attitude for a lot of reporters in the UK trying to convince people that, oh, please stop. Please stop going after Philip Schofield. Please stop calling him out. Please stop calling him a groomer. Look, he is very fragile. He is, and Philip Schofield did an interview for the BBC claiming that, he was suicidal and all of those things. He's lost everything and his daughters have to be with him. That's why he's here. He, to the point where he compares himself to Caroline Flack. The same Caroline Flack that Philip Schofield, all their colleagues in the press, bullied until she committed suicide. Caroline Flack didn't do anything. She didn't groom anybody, and so the idea that he is that is the most egregious thing. So the thing with all of these reporters trying to, it's like the narrative is out there. We must protect Philip Schofield's mental health at all costs. He's suffered enough. It's been over 2 weeks that everybody's been going after him. He's suffered enough. We need to stop. We need to be kind. These are the same reporters. The same reporters, most of whom have been bullying Meghan Markle, including Piers Morgan, obviously, for the last 7 years. None of them caring about her mental health. None of them caring when she literally sat there and said, pregnant, that she was thinking about ending her life when she was pregnant. They mocked her, called her a liar. All of the most incredible amount of abuse. All of these, I'm not saying all, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of these reporters did to Meghan and are still doing today. Yet to see them on Twitter pleading for kindness, pleading, have we not learned anything from Caroline Flack? Have we not? And these are the same reporters who sit here and are begging for Philip Schofield's humanity, begging us to consider his humanity, who care nothing about Meghan's. This woman who they have been bullying and bullying and bullying to this day, they have turned on her husband and they have, their thing is like, if you do this, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to kill him? Is that what we want to do with Philip? Why, what we need to stop? Then what is their aim for Meghan then? The person that they've been bullying for 7 years. They know very well that the continued bullying could cause him to take his life. They don't care about Meghan. because that's their goal for her for 7 years, to continue bullying her. That is their goal. They know very well what will happen if they continue bullying. They know very well what may happen to Phil. And honestly, and I'm not in people's mind. I can't say no, he doesn't have suicidal thoughts. But a lot of things with this man is when comes across as just manipulative. This man is not a victim. Philip Schofield is not a victim in this. What Philip Schofield has successfully done, and his friends at ITV has successfully done, is flip the script. The script. And they've taken someone who was in power, who used his power to groom a child, to manipulate the audience into thinking he is now the victim. Oh, poor Philip. We have to stop bullying because we have to consider his mental health. Oh, poor Philip. Very few of them are considering the kid that he groomed, the kid who, very few of them are considering the kid. And the co-workers and all of that he has put in this position where they are now having to defend him and, defend and try to, figure out their own careers. Most of whom, by the way, seem to be enablers anyway. But it's really, really sick to see how the men, especially men in the UK, how they protect each other, how in this situation, that's why Prince Andrew, we look at what Prince Andrew, where they will destroy Prince Harry for taking his family out of a place where they're trying, basically bullying his wife. What it seemed to be, it's like they're trying to kill her. That they would treat Andrew better than him, even though, Andrew is alleged to what he had done to Virginia. And this is the thing, to watch these white men protect each other. To watch them try to, everyone to consider their humanity. Yet none of these men considered Meghan, including Philip Schofield. When Meghan, Harry and Meghan have been talking about their mental health. There's a video on Twitter that's been going around of Philip Schofield saying, telling Meghan, shut up. It's like, we've heard enough, so shut up now. We don't want to hear any more from you. Philip Schofield was, one of the people that was supporting Jeremy Clarkson when, with that, when he wrote that nasty article about Meghan. This man has sat on that couch. The majority of the time, there are a few times when he seemed a little bit, okay, not bashing Meghan, but the majority of the time he's on that couch where, on that show, allowing his friends, him participating in, bullying Meghan, harassing the Sussexes. Yet this man is going to turn around and plead for his humanity when he didn't consider hers. It's so sick. It is so sick. So Meghan has been trending a lot because people have been calling out the hypocrisy of those in the British press who have spent 7 years destroying Meghan and Harry. And yet this man has been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And now they're like, enough, please be kind. Let's not, he didn't do anything wrong. It's just a relationship. And which tells me a lot about the people who defend it. It speaks, especially the men, it speaks to their own relationships. What have they been doing that they don't want to come out? Why they have been protecting him? One of the people, it's so funny, with Dan Wooten, he's been one of the ones going after Philip Schofield, him and Eamon Holmes. And, a few days ago, and I even said, sometimes when people like Dan Wooten are screaming at the top of their lungs against what Philip Schofield did, a lot of times it's to hide their own, what's going on in their life. They basically think, let me scream to the top of my lungs and expose him. So then, people wouldn't notice the mess in my own life. And no sooner did I say that, what I think it was called Private Eye or whatever, put out this article. And although they didn't specifically say the name, exactly who it was, and that what it seemed they were referring to was Dan Wooten and his behavior with young people that are under his charge, or who are working for him on whatever news outlet, maybe the Sun or the Daily Mail, whatever. And they were very, they've made it very clear who they were talking about. And it's very funny because ever since that article, and it talks about this person who it looks like, again, referring to Dan Wooten, how they, that they were bullying people at their work, how they, inappropriate, behavior, it's in a sexual nature towards people that were under him, young people that were under him. And ever since that came out, and again, they made it very clear who they were talking about, even though they didn't use the name. But what they put in there, you knew exactly who they were talking about. And it seemed to be that they were talking about Dan Wooten. And it's very interesting because ever since that article came out, Dan Wooten has been mute. You would have thought with how he was screaming at, and I mean, he was ready to shovel, Philip Schofield into hell. I mean, he was standing on his high horse and just like, I'm telling you, he was, but ever since that article came out, Dan Wooten has been mute about this subject. And Philip Schofield did an interview with the BBC, and you would have thought Dan Wooten would have been, because again, Philip Schofield was on there trying to, drum up sympathy for himself and paint himself as a victim. You would think Dan Wooten would have gone after him about that. Oh, no, he didn't. He has been mute, completely mute. And I saw something else on Twitter with one of Dan Wooten's fellow co-workers at GB News. Similar situation where he was harassing people in a sexual manner at the job. And they apparently fired him until someone, a high-profile person on that station, stood up for him, which apparently made all, the people that were reporting that guy very upset. But the person who stood up for the, alleged sexual harasser was Dan Wooten. And so ever since that stuff came out, Dan Wooten has been mute on this subject. And so it'd be very interesting going forward to see if he remains mute, because that article definitely, ever since I saw that article pop up, I have not heard a word from Dan Wooten on this subject. So it's very interesting. But anyways, I mean, yeah, the condemnation was just like, whoa, dude. But it's very funny because one of our squaddies, Sussex Daily, posted this, and I was just like, whoa. And as you can see, one of the reasons Piers Morgan is, definitely in Philip Schofield corner and wanting the world to not, persecute him, even though Piers Morgan spends his life persecuting Meghan, who has done nothing. She has not committed a crime. She has literally done nothing to any of these people. But only to find out Piers Morgan wrote a book about Philip Schofield. Who knew? Didn't even know there was a book about Philip Schofield. But Sussex Daily and, our squaddies are better than, I'm telling you, better than the FBI in finding things. She found this book that written by Piers Morgan about To Dream a Dream, the amazing life of Philip Schofield. And so the book, you can't get it. I guess it's out of print or whatever. I think it came in paperback. But it's very interesting, So you see why, no matter what it seems that Philip Schofield has done, you can't tell me Piers Morgan is only learning about this now, from people who have worked at ITV. They're like, just about everybody here knew this. Nobody at ITV can walk away and say they didn't know. It was very clear what was happening at ITV. And so that's where Piers Morgan worked. So you can't tell me that Piers Morgan was there and that's his, look like his friend. He wrote a book about him and all of that stuff. You cannot tell me that Piers Morgan does not know what was happening there, But again, white men protecting other white men. It is unbelievable to watch it. These same people, some of whom will attack Meghan and Harry. some of whom completely mute, all of a sudden have like come out of the woodwork. Oh, no, 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 please be kind. Please stop persecuting him. He is fragile, he whatever. Meanwhile, some of them were mute when Meghan, pregnant twice, and instead of compassion, they heaped abuse on her and are still heaping abuse every single day of her life. With not 1 ounce of compassion, not 1 ounce of thought to have compassion on a woman who has done nothing to them. I'm telling you, these people are animals. These people are animals. And honestly, apologies to the animals. Moving on, and still staying on this mess happened. Well, one of it, I just mentioned about Philip Schofield on the left. Since leaving ITV this morning, he has lost everything. And adding that this is how Caroline Flack felt, and I was like, the audacity of this man to try to use Caroline Flack to, you would have thought, the time for him to have used Caroline Flack is when he sat there and him and other reporters attacking Meghan. That's when he should have used this. This woman was pregnant and suicidal, and none of them had the thought, my gosh, we cannot let this happen to another person. Look at what Caroline Flack. But no, Philip Schofield decided, let me use Caroline Flack to gain sympathy. Because, all of a sudden, I am a victim when he is not. Philip Schofield is not a victim in the story. And another thing that happened is Alison Hammond, this black girl who is on that show this morning, the same show that Philip Schofield was on. This girl sat there and, as the Evening Standard is saying, that she broke down in tears, and she and co-host Dermot O'Leary addressed the Philip Schofield affair with much younger colleagues. And Alison Hammond, both of them, Alison and Dermot, were the ones last week who were did this tribute to Philip Schofield the day after he left, which we talked about, which was so despicable. And this woman had the nerve to sit there and break down in tears about Philip Schofield, about how confused she feels, and how, and then she had the nerve to bring in God and, and the Bible into it. Her mother would, and how her mother would have a deal with it. It would be like, he who cast the first, he who is without sin cast the first stone. And I was just like, I am so disgusted, about this. Because you know what? If Alison Hammond was in this position, none of her white co-stars would, or co-hosts would be doing anything like this for her. That's one thing. Another thing is, this is the same Alison Hammond who was grinning with the, with the Cambridges a few weeks ago when they used her as a prop. They needed a black, we're not racist person. So who did they call up? Alison Hammond, and they got her there grinning, This is the Alison Hammond who sat there on this show while some of her co-hosts, including Camilla Tominey and others, would be on there with their nastiness against Meghan, and she would say nothing. Nothing. She never once brought up to them, you know what? If you guys are accusing Meghan of this, but which of you are without sin? Why don't you be the first to cast a stone? Which of you are without sin? What gives you the right to be casting a stone at her? She never brought that up. She sat there and allowed her co-hosts to say any kind of nasty stuff about Meghan, any kind of abusive stuff, any kind of lie against Meghan. And she said nothing. But yet here is Alison, tears, fake tears coming down her face for this groomer. And it's just like, girl, I was just so disgusted when I saw that. I was just like, because I had to tweet, I'm like, how much is ITV paying this woman to shed these fake tears? All in an effort for people to feel sympathy for this man, for people, to not call for the end of their show. It is just disgusting. to see this black one, I can't even. Just like, girl, I'm telling you, I don't understand. Sometimes British black people, y'all confuse me. I just was like, what? Anyways, moving on. I just can't. I just like, mm, mm, mm. Breathe. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's just do. Let me just do a really change a little bit of music that I just to change it up a little bit because this is just so irritating. I'm like, hopefully this music is playing because I can't hear it on here. So a little bit of a change and get into something different because this is just like I just can't. Oh, calm down and come back to New York. Anyways, changing the subject to a happier thing. This is Naomi Osaka. Naomi is having a baby, and I guess this was her shower. It's nothing to do with the royals at all, but she is a little princess. And that's why the little slide, her little thing says, "A little princess is on the way." That's right. And I think her boyfriend, I think is Caudell. I don't know what his last name is. That's him there kissing her belly. But so Naomi is going to have her little one soon. It's so funny with Naomi. I've always said she always looks so much happier when she's not on the tennis court. And among creativity and doing creative stuff. And for her, I don't know, she may or may not go back to tennis. But for me, I just want Naomi to be happy doing whatever it is she is doing. Yeah, but it just, kudos to her. Definitely kudos to her. And, just wish her all the best. I don't know. I guess it's going to be a girl because of the colors. So, well, hello. It's going to be a girl. Of course, she says princess petal. Duh. Duh. She's a princess, a little girl. So, anyway, congratulations in advance to Naomi Osaka and her little princess and to Caudell, as they looking forward to welcoming their little one. So I just thought it was really special. And we've talked about Naomi here before about her mental health. And for me, I just want the best for her to be in just the happiest places that she can find herself. So really awesome for Naomi. And finally, Miss Ivy, as Byron is like, Ivy here. Oh, Ivy here. But Ivy decided that she is going to make all Sussex squad drool today. And I mean, so funny. I don't even eat this stuff. And I mean, unless, it's vegan. And, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But Ivy decided to post these on Twitter today. So I thought I'd share it with you. So thank you, Ivy. So on the left is the banana bread. And she did a little cut just so if in case the whole one didn't make your mouth water, she cut it so you can see in the middle. And then this is a pineapple cake on the right there. I think I've had a pineapple cake once or twice maybe, years and years ago. But I think it was like at a Spanish restaurant. They had like a Spanish cake, pineapple cake, and I had a slice of it. So yeah, it was actually really good. But so Ivy decided to just have all of our mouths be watering, and I guess maybe in advance for cakes for Lily's celebration tomorrow. Having a Sussex squad celebration, so we can celebrate looking at Ivy's banana bread and her pineapple cake. So thank you, Ivy. And if you have not checked out Ivy's podcast, please do. She is absolutely amazing. So I think it's called Sussex Global. Oh my goodness, I just realized I forgot the specific name of her podcast. I think it's Sussex Global. That it's called, but it is a fantastic. Ivy, she breaks things down and it's just like, so there are some incredible podcast she does. I think one of my favorite is when she was talking about despair and how abusive it is. I mean, she just she just lays it out. She's amazing. So if you have not checked out Ivy's podcast, definitely go. And if you have not heard Baron say Ivy here, please jump over the Sussex to Royal Sussex and listen out and find a podcast where Baron is saying Ivy here. You need to hear it. So there you go. But anyways, that's it. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much. I am actually going to be running off here in a second. But thank you all so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church, Nelly, Karen, and Cookies and Cream. Thank you all so much for keeping our space safe and awesome. I appreciate. Thank you guys so much to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. I appreciate you so much for all the ways in which you support the channel, and to our Gold Star supporters who support in the chat. You'll see whether it's super thanks, super chat, super stickers, or straight donation, or some of you support via PayPal and Cash App. Thank you all so very much. And we also do have merchandise. I always forget to do the merchandise. So if you're ever interested in merchandise, we do have some Facts and 2 Cents merchandise as well. So definitely the link will always be in the show notes. So definitely jump to the links there for merchandise, and also to you can find art prints. My dad allow me to use his art prints there, or sell his art prints there. If you'd like some art prints, it's the same link. Just do some scrolling. It's right there. So thank you guys so much. I love you all. Have a great Saturday, and I will see you all later. Bye.